This is surprisingly good. The burrs are nearly identical. This little grinder is absolutely... Okay, let's take a step back a bit. This is bottle. And no, it's not actually a bottle, though it may look like one. In fact, it's a portable, electric, rechargeable, battery-powered burr grinder. And it's really quite intriguing. On the face of it, we've got everything a coffee enthusiast really wants. We've got an external grind adjustment. We've got easy bean loading. It's battery powered, it's USB rechargeable, and it's got a pretty great burr set. Now, these are being made by a new company out of China, X and Y, and the company is primarily made up of product designers that are coffee enthusiasts. And being product designers, well, you can kind of tell. I don't think I've ever seen or could have conceived of a grinder like this. But here's the big question. Is it any good? If you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really does help the channel out. On this channel, we talk all about coffee, and I try to share all of the knowledge that I've built up over the last few years on coffee gadgets, coffee workflows, and things that are just going to help you improve your coffee at home. Whether it's new product launches or tips and tricks, we talk about it all here. I am not a trained barista. I just love coffee and I love making videos. If you're already subscribed, welcome back, and you look great today. Now, X and Y did send me this grinder, and in fact they are sponsoring this video, but they do not get to see it before you do, and as always, nothing is going to sway my opinion one way or another. I made it really clear that if I didn't like this grinder, I would convey that to you. And since they agreed to those terms, here we are. That all out of the way, let's take a look at the form factor of this thing. I mean, it kind of reminds me of something you'd find in IKEA. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a good thing, because we all know that IKEA have very clever design and functional design, and I think that's kind of similar here. So the top part is where you're going to find your on and off switch. You'll also find your USB-C port where you can plug it in to charge it. The whole upper stalk or bottleneck houses the motor and the battery as well, and it also serves as your grind adjustment. There are 9 numbers on the dial, although it does go down to 0 and then all the way up to 9 with 5 clicks in between each number. So we've got a total of 45 grind settings. And in my experience in using this, that's enough. This can grind fine enough for some espresso applications. If you're using a smaller diameter basket, like a 51mm basket or a 49, then this will work, and your usable kind of range is going to be between 0 and maybe 1.5. This has worked no problem for me with the DeLonghi Dedica with a bottomless portafilter, and it's worked on the Outen Nano no problem as well. So I think if you're using a smaller diameter basket, this will work for espresso no problem. Whether it's going to work for something like a 58mm basket, there's a bit of a question mark over that one. I don't think this is going to grind fine enough with consistent enough grounds at that fine level for a 58mm basket. 51mm, 49mm, no problem at all. However, realistically, this is not designed as an espresso capable grinder. It's a portable grinder, right? It's a travel grinder first and foremost. So I think most people are going to be using this grinder as a filter grinder, as an AeroPress grinder, or maybe a French press. For those applications, more than enough grind adjustment. And just to note, another thing I've been really impressed with is the particle size distribution. Overall, on the finer end, it was producing pretty consistent grounds, and the same through medium and coarse. Back to the design, and below the dial, or the dial adjustment, you've got your sliding door bean hopper. It's a bit unusual, but I quite like it. I've actually really enjoyed using this. It's very easy to get the beans in, and what's really cool is you can kind of just leave this door open and watch your beans being ground inside the chamber. Onto the catch cup at the bottom, and there's some pretty nifty design here as well. It's a sort of a twist and release mechanism, and it obviously just comes off and you've got your catch cup. But you might notice that there are little recesses in the body here, and that is for if you want to just increase the size of your catch cup. That's pretty cool, I must admit. How many coffee beans you're going to be grinding to need an expandable catch cup? I don't know, but it's there. Now I can't finish talking about the design of this grinder without saying that it is 90% plastic. But it's not really cheap plastic. It's made of Triton and ABS, and it feels good, it feels solid. In fact, what I'd say is it feels durable. And that's what you want from a portable grinder. By comparison, I have a number of other portable electric battery powered grinders up there, and I'm always worried about getting the aluminium scratched on them when I throw them into my bag. And another reason the plastic can be good is that it saves weight. This thing is very light. Now you'd think that's it, right? We've come to the bottom of the grinder and that's it. But there is more. If we come right down to the bottom, this comes off. Can you guess what this is for? Yep, this is a lid for your catch cup. Clever. Now this may not be made out of the most exotic materials, but I do really enjoy the design of this thing. Okay, so onto the battery, and it's an 800 milliamp hour battery, and that's given me about 10 grind cycles in this thing, grinding for filter. And then I need to charge it up, and it takes about 80 or 90 minutes to charge up a full cycle. For a weekend away, 8 or 9 grind cycles is pretty good, right? That's pretty much what you want. And just to note, it's got a sort of a simple on-off display on the top here as well with a battery indicator light. Onto the burr set, and I was really intrigued by this because when I took it apart, I realized those burrs look very familiar. Where have I seen those burrs before? Well, it turns out that the burrs inside this are very similar to another grinder that I have, and a grinder that I really like. Anyone recognize this? The burrs in the XY are almost identical to the ones in the Time War Nano hand grinder. And I love this grinder. So looking at these side by side, they are absolutely identical. I can't make out any differences between the two burrs. The only difference I see is that the Time War one has a serial number or something stamped on the bottom of it, and the XY one does not. But they are identical. So let's put this back together and let's grind up some coffee. Also very easy to take apart and put back together if you do want to clean your burrs. It just uses a very simple little hex screw at the bottom. Okay, so we're back together. I really do like this sliding door. I just think it's clever design. It's something I've never seen before in a grinder. So we're going to weigh out 15 grams, if I can get it into the subscale. So about 15 grams, what are we at there? 15.3. 15.1, that'll do. And for loading the beans in, you just simply put them in. And that's it. Very simple. And a really nice user experience, I must say. So we can close over our door if you want, or you can leave it open. And then we're going to adjust our grind. So I'm just going to go to a grind size of 3. Let's go with 3. And then we just press our button at the top. Little bit of popcorning there at the end, but that's okay. You can just close over the door. And you'll have noticed that once it feels that there's no torque going through the motor, it'll auto turn off. And that's a really good thing as well. Now this is not going to break any speed records. I've measured it out and it runs at about 60-65 RPM. So it's about the same speed as you'd get from hand cranking, just without the sweat and the effort. You'll also have heard it's not massively loud, but you know it's turned on. So that was 15 grams of coffee beans of a Colombian medium light roast. They were grown at 1700 meters. So a pretty dense bean and no issues there at all. It took about, what, 45, 50 seconds? So let's have a look at the grounds. So it was a bit of retention, static there, but you do get a nice little, what can only be described as a makeup brush with it, and we can just sweep all of that into the catch cup. Okay, so grounds have been pretty consistent with this thing, and I'll just dump a few out here so that you can see. There are a few fines, but I'm not worried about that. Let's make a filter coffee with it and see how it does. Okay, so like I said, grind uniformity has been pretty good, and it should be because it's got the identical burrs from the Time Worn Nano, which we know is a very good grinder. So let's make ourselves a nice little pour over. Not much static left in the cup itself actually after a bit, so that's pretty good. A few little straggly grounds in there, but that's that. Okay. Got a nice bloom going. No stalling on the paper, so that's good. Up to about a minute now. Okay, 230 grams, so roughly a 1:17 ratio filter coffee. While we let that draw down, I have also tested this grinder with the AeroPress on a fairly fine setting, and I've tested it with the Weber Workshops Bird on a more coarse setting, and that was very good. So let's see how this does. Smells very good. Okay. Excellent. Really good, well-balanced coffee, getting fruity notes. Not a huge amount of body to it, but that's okay, it's a filter coffee. It's great, really happy with that. So this grinder I'm really impressed with. It's performed well with a filter coffee, it's performed well with the Weber Workshops Bird on a more coarse setting, it's performed really well with an AeroPress on a fine setting, and even it's able to go fine enough to make an espresso with the Outen Nano and the DeLonghi Dedica, so on the smaller diameter baskets. So we've got a deeper puck, so it requires a less fine grind. Overall, I'm really impressed with this thing. Sure, it's not made of the most exotic materials, it is plastic, but that means it's lightweight, it's portable, and if the grounds coming out of it are consistent enough across different applications to make decent, tasty coffee, I'm pretty impressed with it. So how much is it and where can I buy it? Well, it's just been released on Kickstarter, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, another Kickstarter campaign. It's too risky. I don't want to give my money to something that I don't know if it's going to be real. I get it. I do get it. But is it really that much of a risk? Well, let's find out, because this is $89 US. And to me, that doesn't represent that much of a risk. If you look at the competitors of this particular grinder, you've got the Millab E01, whatever it's called, and the Varia Evo hybrid hand grinder. This is $259 US, and this is $222 US. So does $89 represent that much of a risk? To me, probably not. Sure, X and Y is definitely not as an established brand as we've got with Varia and with MillLab or Time More. These two are premium grinders. They're made of what they say is aerospace, aluminium and all that sort of stuff, and that's great. They are premium products. This is not. It's sort of an entryway into portable espresso, portable filter, portable whatever grinds. And for $89, I think that's pretty good. The MSRP on it is going to be about $120, so still not going to break the bank and less than half the price roughly of these two. Now, just for transparency, I have tested it against these two grinders, and the results are broadly similar. Yes, these can grind finer. Definitely, the Varia Evo will grind fine enough for Turkish coffee. Same with the MillLab. This will not. But for 99% of your applications, especially when you're outdoors or traveling or you need it to be what it is, a portable grinder, this is going to do exactly what you want it to do. I think they've done really well with this. And I actually will be bringing this on my next trip away and pair it up with the AeroPress or the Out Nano up there. And one other thing to note is that it is an awful lot lighter than both of these. So if we just put it back together again and we get our scales back, tear out the scale. This is 651 grams. Let's see what this is 907 grams. And the MillLab, which is a big boy, is over a kilo, 1.2 kilos. So this is half the weight of this. And when you're traveling and you want it to be what it is, a portable grinder, the weight is important. So let's get these two out of the way. Are you going to back this? That's the question. Well, if you are, let me know in the comments below. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and let's have a chat about this grinder. Thank you for watching. Thank you to XY for sponsoring this video. Hit the subscribe button and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.